Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Let's talk about Quad exposing Phaedra for trying to get her fired. You heard it. Yep. That was very shocking for me to hear, but I want to talk about it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that were shared during the interview that Quad and Heavenly had with V103. I do feel like there are some gaps that I need clarification on. And if Phaedra could please stand up or sit down and tell us what is going on, because this tea is interesting. Okay, let's get into it. But before that, if you're new to this channel, I do reviews and recaps, just as my name suggests, of reality TV shows, celebrity news. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all your notifications, because your girl be posting anytime every day. Okay, so just hit that notification bell and turn all the notifications on. And everyone, please like, share, and don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now let's get into it. Dr. Heavenly and Quad have definitely been teaming up this season. They've been showing up everywhere, really. So they were doing a media run with V103, and it was all straight into Quad's new new relationship. Well, I will say, I do agree with everyone. I agree that Quad seems happy. She does seem like really excited about this relationship. Sounds like they've been dating for a while now. She mentioned they've been dating for 1 year and 7 months. And it's just been really nice to like spend time together and plan for the future, which is really nice, because I think that her and Dr. Greg were not compatible at all. So I'm glad that she is with somebody who is compatible. Now, one thing I also liked is the fact that from what she's saying, she is basically clarifying that her man be holding her accountable. And I like that. Personally, I feel like Quad is not the most accountable person. So it's good to actually hear that her man is honest with her and holds her accountable when she does something wrong. I do like that she said it might hurt her feelings a little bit, but she's thankful that basically, he's in her life. And I agree with that. I feel like sometimes you get in relationships and the person challenges you to be better. It's like calls you out on certain things that you've done wrong. And you're just like, wow, what is this? It can be hurtful. But at the same time, it depends on whether or not you want to grow. If you want to grow and improve as a person, then it's always like, embrace it. I'm one of these people. I'm going to just embrace it and take accountability and become a better version, a more improved version of myself. So I'm glad that she's ideally flagging that. Now, of course, you guys know people like to ask, oh, what prayer did you pray? What did you say? Well, she basically talks about the prayer not necessarily being a prayer as such, and that she knew from previous relationships what she wanted. And she identified that, and that was that. It did sound a little bit like she's not exactly confirming her being pregnant or anything, because there have been rumors all around social media about it. I just think leave that woman to enjoy her life. Whenever it is that she is or wants to announce it, she will. Just leave her to do her thing. But ultimately, I'm happy that things are great. Now, they did ask both of them how they deal with rumors because they put their lives out there. Heavenly rides for her daddy. Heavenly was like, well, her and her kids are healthy and happy, so she doesn't care about the rumors. I do think she is going to say that. Now, she does also say that her marriage is not for sale and she would not disrespect her husband. And that even though she gets a lot of backlash about that, she doesn't care. She's told them from the beginning that if they all put their lives out there, she can talk about it. So if you post something or say something, then she can also say it. And whilst you may not agree with that logic, I completely understand where she's coming from. You cannot put something in a public platform and then expect me not to speak on it because we are castmates and you expect some sort of loyalty. It's like if it's a conversation that we're all having because it's in the public forum, then myself as a member of the public could also speak on it. Now, that doesn't mean you like what I have to say, but you brought it here. And even though I don't agree with Heavenly shenanigans and I feel like she goes too far, I do think I get that principle where it's like, if you bring something into the public forum, you can't be shocked that people want to talk about it. You brought it here. My advice to people like Contessa is, don't bring your marriage onto the show, or don't make it the subject of your storyline and then expect that there won't be conversations about it. You may not like all the conversations that will come up about it, but it may come up. Now, in all fairness to Contessa, when it comes to Contessa's relationship with Heavenly directly, I feel that there was a friendship there, and so she expected more, and I get that. But I'm just saying, as a general rule, don't put stuff out there if you don't want it to be used against you. It's like, don't get carried away and tell everything if you know that you cannot deal with other people's opinion about your everything. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, and they talk about Phaedra. The host asked Quad and Heavenly whether they get along with Phaedra. Heavenly basically said she's cool with Phaedra and everyone on the show. And then Quad said she's always had a good relationship with Phaedra and they've always been cool up until when Phaedra came in the mix on Married to Medicine and she tried to usher her in. But apparently, allegedly, there was a meeting that was led by Phaedra to get Quad fired. That is very interesting. What are your initial thoughts about that? Now, I'll tell you my initial thoughts before I then say the other things that Quad said. My initial thought was, wow, shocking. And then I thought, but then Phaedra has never come across as someone of integrity, let's be honest. She's great entertainment, but she's never really come up as someone with integrity as a person, personally, right? Like, for instance, we've seen her lie, in my opinion, on multiple occasions while she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's not even talk about the dungeon situation with Kandi, alleging Kandi of all sorts of craziness. So I cannot necessarily say I trust the integrity of who Phaedra is to be like, okay, that's gonna be, she would never do that. But for me, it's just very shocking that how does Phaedra have that much of a pull to a show that she has just showed up to be able to then call a meeting to get her fired? I personally feel like Phaedra, if in fact she did that, was probably a puppet, and production were the puppet masters. That's initially what came to my mind, and I just said it as it came to my mind. Quad talked about how it was disheartening to hear that, and I just thought interesting. And then Dr. Heavenly said to Quad, well, she didn't get that from her. And Quad replied that, well, it's not just her. She has a lot of things that come to her desk, but Heavenly confirmed it. This is interesting. Honestly, seems so far-fetched when I then think about it a little bit more, because I'm like, Phaedra just came on the show. How would she be the one rallying people around to get you fired? That is so weird and wild and shocking. But then, like I said, could she be a puppet? And the puppet masters were pulling her strings like, well, we want you on the show, but you need to get Quad fired. And then that was why she was brought on the show. Who knows? But from outside looking in, if we forget all of the things that she's done on Real Housewives of Atlanta, it just seems like such a stretch that she would do that. Apparently, there was even also a scene where they tried to discuss it and Phaedra didn't deny it. Well, she tried to deny it at first and then later apologized. So if she denies it at first and then later apologizes, that means in some way she was involved. But I don't think she was the ringleader. I don't believe that she was the one rallying everyone. I think everyone understood the assignment. And I think the assignment came from production in some way. And she was the face of it. That is my opinion. Of course, I don't know if it is fact. But that's my opinion. That's what I think. Now, of course, it sounds like Quad offended Phaedra by saying something about she wouldn't be on the show if Kandi was still present. And that's the truth, isn't it? As much as Bravo loved Phaedra, they knew that they could not bring her on the show if her and Kandi are not on great terms. Ultimately, they had to choose Kandi. At the end of the day, Kandi had a larger following than Phaedra did. So it was a no-brainer. But since Candy decided to step back, they're like, all right, come Phaedra, second choice. Now, in all fairness, you guys know that I feel like Phaedra is good on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think her dynamic with Portia brings light-hearted fun to the show, which I would love to see this season. I was never really keen on Candy on Real Housewives of Atlanta, to be completely honest. But I also understand Bravo choosing Candy over Phaedra in that moment, because Phaedra was the one that did something wrong. Now, whether or not, of course, there were rumors about the rumor came from producer allegedly, who knows what the truth is. But either way, I do feel that Phaedra at least needed to be put in timeout, and she was. I do think production wanted to humble Quad in some way, and they found a way to do it. Now, of course, things didn't go so well because the fans did not like how they did Quad. I personally don't see or really fancy Quad on the show. I don't really think that she brings much to the show personally, but that is my opinion. But she has a good range of fans who support her, which is fair enough, right? But I think production does not like her for whatever reason. It may be things that have happened behind the scenes that we are not privy to, but they were then trying to get rid of her at any cost and use Phaedra and the rest of the castmates to do it. I think production thought they were smart when they made a storyline out of it and showed her being let go out of the group, thinking that was going to be the end of it. It could have just done it quietly and let her go and not renewed her contract, and that would have just been the end of it. But instead, they wanted to really embarrass her by trying to turn it into a storyline and make it so public. Instead, it backfired, and I think that's really what it was. But let me know what you guys think. Do you believe that Phaedra did that? And if so, do you feel like Phaedra was just being a puppet and acting based on the request of the producers? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and turn on all your notifications. And I'll see you guys in the chat. Thank you. Bye.